Have you ever scrolled through videos of successful entrepreneurs talking about scaling, investments, and these super complex funnels and just felt exhausted? It all sounds so expensive, so intimidating. But what if the secret to your own financial rise wasn't some massive bank loan or a perfect 50-page business plan? What if it was a tiny, low-stakes $50 project you started in your spare time, almost by accident? This is my story. It's the story of the one stupidly simple thing I started with practically no money and how it completely changed my income stream forever. If you've ever felt too poor, too busy, or just too overwhelmed to start a business, this is the video that proves you wrong. Let me take you back to my lowest point, both creatively and financially. I was stuck in a soul-sucking day job, feeling completely burned out, but I was desperate for a creative outlet, something that was mine. The problem was, I didn't have money for expensive courses or fancy equipment. My budget for any kind of side project was precisely $50. That was my arbitrary limit, the absolute maximum I was willing to risk. So I set a few rules for myself. First, the project had to solve a minor, irritating problem that I personally had. Second, it had to use skills I already possessed, no matter how basic they seemed. I wasn't going to spend months learning to code or become a graphic design expert overnight. I had to work with what I had right now. My big revolutionary idea wasn't some groundbreaking piece of technology. It was making custom digital organizing templates for students and small business owners. Specifically, a set of really aesthetic, simple, printable planners and trackers. Stuff I wanted for myself but couldn't quite find in the style I liked. Now, let's talk about that $50 investment. Here's exactly where it went. $10 for a professional font license to make my designs look clean and polished. $20 for a 1-month subscription to a design service, which I canceled before it renewed. And the final $20 went into a small advertising budget on a niche social media platform where I knew my target audience was hanging out. That was it. That was my entire startup cost. I didn't incorporate an LLC. I didn't build a fancy website from scratch. I chose a platform, let us just call it the marketplace, where people were already shopping for digital goods. My project was designed to be the complete opposite of what all the gurus preach. It was low stakes, it was simple, and it wasn't a go big or go home gamble. My entire philosophy was this: validate the demand before you invest the dollar. I wanted to see if anyone would actually buy this thing before I poured any more time or money into it. So I spent about 2 weeks creating my first 5 templates. I focused on making them as clean, useful, and beautiful as possible. They were simple PDFs, a minimal daily planner, a financial tracker for freelancers, and a project roadmap for small teams. I listed them at a really low, attractive price point. I think it was around $5 each. I uploaded them, wrote a simple description, and walked away, not really knowing what to expect. And here's where the unexpected rise began. Within 48 hours, I had my first 3 sales. I had made $15 back. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was the most important $15 I had ever earned. It was proof. It was instant validation that there was a real demand for what I was making. I hadn't spent thousands of dollars trying to convince people they needed this. I just listed a simple solution to a common problem, and the market immediately voted with their wallets. The success of those first few sales taught me my single biggest lesson in business. All the energy I had been wasting on planning and procrastinating and perfecting should have been spent on producing and listening. Instead of trying to create the perfect product in a vacuum, my first customers told me exactly what to build next. A comment section and my direct messages were flooded with requests. Can you make a version of this for teachers? What about a template for weekly meal planning? I love this, but could you do a goal-setting one? I didn't have to guess what the market wanted. I just had to listen and then execute. My business quickly became this incredibly efficient, low-cost feedback loop. The cycle was simple. produce, publish, listen, repeat. I'd create a new template based on feedback, publish it on the marketplace, listen to the new round of requests, and then repeat the whole process. Over the next 6 months, I continued to reinvest every single penny I made back into the project. But I wasn't buying fancy equipment or renting an office space. I invested it into more niche font licenses to give my products variety, better stock icons to improve the visual quality, and just incrementally improving the user experience of the templates. My working capital never exceeded $200 at any given time because I was always building from profit, not from debt. The key to this whole thing was the sheer beautiful simplicity of the business model. Digital products have a zero cost of goods sold. Think about that. I did the work once to create the template, and I could sell that same file infinitely without any additional cost per sale. Every sale after my initial $50 investment was almost pure profit. By the end of that first year, I hit a milestone that seemed absolutely impossible when I started. My small, accidental $50 project was generating enough monthly revenue to match my old full-time salary. That's when it hit me. This was the unexpected rise of small. I quit the soul-sucking job. I took my tiny project full-time. And for the first time in my adult life, I had complete control over my time and my income. It all happened because I chose the low-stakes path. I chose to start small. So what's the core lesson here? It's not about finding the perfect $50 project. It's about understanding the incredible power of the tiny, validated start. Stop waiting for the $10,000 investment. Stop waiting until you have the perfect office or all the right equipment. Find a simple, common problem, maybe one you have yourself. Create a cheap, effective solution using a skill you already have. Invest a bare minimum amount of money just to test the waters. And then, most importantly, let the market tell you what to do next. Your rise story doesn't need a massive explosion. It just needs a single spark. If my story inspired you to start small today, please do me a favor and hit that like button. And subscribe for more rise stories about turning simple ideas into financial freedom. Now go find your $50 project. Thanks for watching.